All right. Okay, so looking at 3-6 part 2, okay, we're doing the same thing we did last week with a little bit of what we did in unit 5. We're going to kind of blend them together. So 3 divided by x plus 3 is greater than 1 divided by x minus 2. So when we're solving an inequality, we want to make sure that it's only one fraction. So we're going to start off with subtracting the fraction that's on the right and move it over to the left. So then we have 3 over x plus 3 minus 3 over x minus 2 is greater than 0. And now we're going to do what we did in P6, where we're going to combine these two fractions into one. So when we're subtracting fractions, remember we have to have common denominator. So our least common denominator is going to be x plus 3 times x minus 2. So then if we look at our first denominator, we have x plus 3. We're missing the x minus 2. And then looking at our second denominator, we have x minus 2. We're missing the x plus 3. Okay. So now if we write this out, we have 3 times the quantity x minus 2 minus 3 times the quantity x plus 3 all over our common denominator x minus 2 times x plus 3 is greater than 0. Now we're going to distribute. So 3 times the quantity x minus 2 is 3x minus 6. And negative 3 times the quantity of x plus 3 is a negative 3x minus 9, all over your common denominator, is greater than 0. Combine like terms in your numerator. 3x minus 3x cancels. And negative 6 minus 9 is a negative 15 over the quantity of x minus 2 times x plus 3. Okay, so now, looking at our numerator, there's no x's, so we don't need to worry about it. Because if we had any x's in our numerator, we would have solved for our x-intercepts, but we don't have any. Looking at our denominator, we know x equals 2, and x equals negative 3 would be our vertical asymptotes on our graph. Okay. So now we're going to do what we did in Unit 5 when we were looking at polynomial inequalities. Make our number line with negative 3 and 2. And then you have a couple of options on how you do this. You can either plug it into your graphing calculator, which I recommend, and you can either do, what's your graphing calc? First option would be just to look at the graph. Or you can do test points in the table. Okay. So we're going to look at both of those. If I can get this to load. There we go. All right. So y equals, type in that fraction. And then we can look at the graph. And we know that based off this graph, if I sketch this, it would kind of be down here, and then come up, and then go back down. Okay, so you have that. Or you can find test points. Let's say negative 4, 0, and 3. And if you go to the table, you can type in negative 4, you get negative 2.5. If you plug in 0, you get positive 2.5. And then if you plug in 3, you get negative 2.5. Okay. So either way is fine. But what we want to know now, we're looking for greater than 0. Greater than 0, is that positive or negative? And it's positive. And if it's positive, are we looking above or below the x-axis? And we're looking for above. Okay, well, our graph is above the x-axis from -3 to 2. Okay, since we had greater than, that means we have parentheses. All right, so our answer, parenthesis, -3, comma 2, parenthesis.